Hello, Level Zero here, and today I wanted to make a video on how to survive the first day of a nuclear attack. This is going to give you most of the information you need to survive and stay unharmed, or as close to unharmed as you can get. Before we get into this video, I would like you guys to know that I'm quite familiar with nuclear weapons and radioactivity. I know what to do and how to handle myself in these situations, and I'd like people to be better educated on the subject so that they can do the same. Now it's time for me to educate you. I hope you enjoy. Now let's get started. So first off, we're going to mainly talk about a 10 to 20 megaton warhead, because it's very unlikely Tsar Bomba will ever be used in attack, luckily, seeing as it weighs 27 tons and it was extremely difficult to be dropped. The Beast was more of a propaganda bomb. However, there are torpedo warheads that are 200 megaton doomsday devices. Hopefully none of the following scenarios ever happen, but if they do, then knowing what to do can make the difference between life or death. I will start with our scenario with us being in New York City. Let's say we're towards the edge of it. So we're walking on our way from work when there's a bright flash. White is all around you, and there's intense heat. Luckily, you're not facing the explosion, because if you were, you would be blinded for 15 minutes. So, the first thing to do is to duck and cover into anything that's in between you and the blast. You just need to get behind something. It can be anything from a newspaper to a car to a doorway. Anything to shield you will protect you from getting third-degree burns. You also want to curl up into a ball and cover your head and neck with your arms. Once the flash is gone, this is important, don't get up. The blast wave will come tearing through and destroy things, and if you're caught in it, you'll either get flung into the air or you'll get lungs collapsed. Not good. So stay protected until the blast wave passes. If you're in a building and this flash happens, then get away from the windows, as they'll shatter and create tiny bullets that fly through the air, expose you to third-degree burns, and possibly irradiate you all at the same time. And try to hide in an enclosed room. Don't hide in a hallway facing the blast, as it creates a wind tunnel that will blast debris and carry you away. Now that the explosion's over, there's fire everywhere, chaos is erupting. What you need to do now is figure out if the explosion was a ground burst or an air burst. An air burst causes more destruction and destroys a lot more, but it doesn't create as much fallout, if any. If it was a ground burst, you should not stay out in the open for long, as anywhere between 45 to 15 minutes, fallout will begin falling. This is bad for you if you're exposed to it for long, or really bad for you if you ingest it. It's likely fatal. The amount of fallout that's produced is dependent on the weather, the wind, the bomb, and many other things. But you don't want to be in it. Just don't be in it. You need to seek immediate shelter. The best shelters are things like basements, the inside of hotels, schools, industrial warehouses, subway systems, and even a Walmart can protect you, although Walmarts will often have people coming and raiding them, so try to avoid stores. But if it's your only hope, then absolutely it's better than just being out in the open. You just need to be inside of a building and protected from fallout and the elements. The next thing to do is to stay inside of a building for at least 14 days. By then, most of the radioactivity and other hazards are less of a danger, if not gone completely. The next section is about your kit. You want a kit for each person with a full-face gas mask, such as the Israeli civilian respirator, plenty of gas mask filters, a low-level Geiger counter for decontamination. Personally, I would recommend the GMC 500 Plus or the GMC 300S. A high-range Geiger counter for a higher level of radiation, such as the Plessey PDRM 82. An electronic dosimeter for total absorbed dose. I would personally recommend the HFS 10, or I would recommend one of the personal electronic dosimeters that nuclear power plants use, and then they get rid of them and sell them on eBay for $50 or less. A hazmat suit, not to protect you from radiation, because as far as radiation protection goes, a hazmat suit, it's not really that good at protecting you, but for decontamination, so that you can easily wash it off and then not have any radioactive dust on your skin, stuck in your clothing, things like that. A fire starter of some sort, such as a ferrocerium rod or just a regular old lighter. Basic survival gear. Means of self-defense. 14 gallons of water per person. You need at least 1 gallon of water for each person for 1 day, although personally I would go up to 30 days of water per person, which is 30 gallons of water per person, and a large food supply. You want a food supply that can sustain a person for 14 to 30 days easily. Exposing food and water to radiation isn't going to make it magically radioactive, but you do need to be careful for contamination when radioactive particles get stuck into the food or onto the food. So as long as the food is in an airtight bag, all you need to do is wash off the bag and take the food out. Another thing to keep in mind is that a nuclear bomb will make an EMP that will destroy all electronics. For any electronic devices that you need, namely the Geiger counters and dosimeters, you need to put them into a Faraday cage or EMP-proof bag. You can even make one of these pretty easily and cheaply if you want. The other thing is, well, yes, you can get a radio. Usually the radio will be telling you what is, like, what areas are radioactive, what areas aren't radioactive, but you can easily tell that just with your own tools, and it puts an unnecessary radio frequency marker, basically a giant beam to your back, so people will know where to look for you, which, depending on the circumstances, those people could be good or they could be bad. So, surviving the first day of a nuclear attack is a daunting prospect. But with preparation and knowledge, you can increase your chances of safety. Remember to stay informed, seek shelter immediately, create a shelter kit, protect yourself from radiation, and above all, stay calm. I hope you never have to use this information, but being prepared is the first step to ensuring safety of yourself and your loved ones. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Stay safe, everyone.